with Monet's shot, it's a power vacuum. I cleared the way. You just need to use it to get close to Noma and try to
learn things she knows, so I can end up taking everything she has and breaking you up.
But it's a dangerous play, baby. You gotta be careful.
One of the major questions I had going into season 4 of Ghost was what happens with Tasha. Over a year ago, I created a video breaking down some clues of how it was set up for Tasha to return to help Tariq fight this war. We even had Natauri Naughton giving an interview, basically hinting she will be there for Tariq and playing more of a role in season 4. So in this breakdown, we're going to run through this small clip from season 4, which again was an ad posted by Stars just before you play an episode or a movie. We've got Tariq warning who I believe is Tasha to finish what she started. We're also going to run through some more scenes involving Noma and Obi. There's another with Tariq and Brayden, Monet and the Tejadas, and finally Tariq coming face to face with who I think will be one of the villains for season 4, Detective Don Carter. But let's start with Tasha and Tariq first. Now in this scene, Tariq comes face to face with who I believe is Tasha because he says, "I know you want to finish what you started." And so we can only assume he's talking about when Tasha lit up Monet outside the Tejadas. She basically started a war and now her son is in the thick of the action. If Tasha didn't roll up on Monet and Diana, then just before, Diana did tell Monet, "Let's go back in the house." And then I'm sure she would have messaged Tariq to call off the hit. But Tariq's going to tell Tasha, "Finish what you started." And Tasha's going to be playing a huge role in season 4. Rewinding it back to one of her interviews she gave over a year ago, she said the following, "But you know me and power. I actually shot season 4 pregnant with my daughter. I have a 5-year-old. I went back to work after about 8 weeks. My baby is 5 weeks, almost 6. I have a strong feeling that shortly you'll see more of Tasha on Ghost." So that's directly from Natauri Naughton who plays Tasha. She's basically saying we're going to see more of Tasha on Ghost. Now the reason why we're going to see more of Tasha on Ghost is because she's actually free from Tommy now. She was in Witsec from the end of season 1 because Tommy wanted her for snitching. So Tariq hatched this plan sending Tasha away. Since then, we've seen her reunite with Yasmin, but also squash the beef with Tommy, which is why she's now able to kind of play more of a role in Tariq's life and in Ghost. So Tariq wants Tasha to finish what she started, and there are a few reasons why he's reaching out to his mother. Of course, the plan that they came up with where Tariq would learn under Noma, work on the inside and then take what she has, completely backfired. He also doesn't have Uncle Tommy or Ghost to save him like he did back in Power. He does have Brayden who had his back at the warehouse, but he really does have his back against the wall. So having Tasha by his side does make sense. Tasha was someone that was there as Ghost built his empire brick by brick. She helped him set up accounts, do the books, and even dictated some of the moves that he made when Tommy was nowhere to be seen.
Look, if you need to expand, fuck a connect. You may need to think about taking that territory.
So we really can't underestimate Tasha's importance to Tariq. She will always be there for him. But how can Tasha finish what she started? Well, the only way is by helping Tariq win this war. I think she's going to give him advice on what he needs to do next. Maybe she's the one who tells him go back to Stansfield even if the trust fund is lost. Because as much as even I agree they shouldn't be at Stansfield in the middle of a war, it does kind of serve as a bit of protection them being on campus. Because Noma and the Tejadas aren't exactly going to come all guns blazing in the middle of broad daylight on a college campus. So she definitely is going to tell Tariq, okay, you need to do this, now you need to do that. Very similar to how she once took control back in Power. There were moments where Tommy and Ghost really needed Tasha, where she took control. Had she not been there in a few moments, then let's be honest, they might have been fucked. So Tasha's role going into season 4 will be very important. Now with it also being the last and final chapter of Ghost, I also want to talk about Tasha's death. I've always said and believed for Tariq to really tap into his dark side and this monster that lives within inside. He needs to lose the one person he cares for the most, and that's Tasha. And her being in the middle of this war is a real big possibility that could happen. If I were to be honest, I'm also hoping it does kind of happen, because then Tariq is well and truly on his own. However, if Tasha was to get smoked, then I think that would definitely bring Uncle Tommy back into play. I know Tommy did say that this wasn't his war. He even gave Tariq his advice where he needs to pick one lane. He's either a civilian or a gangster, and that he was already dead in New York. But if Tasha was to get smoked, then I can definitely see Tommy coming back and helping Tariq fight this war. But either way, we've got Tariq telling who I believe is most likely Tasha, I know you want to finish what you started. Now we've also got Tariq and Brayden in Tariq's dorm room. In this scene, we've got Tariq telling Brayden, we have to take risks. And of course they do. They need to make moves that the Tejadas and Noma don't expect. They need to be a bit unpredictable, which I think they will be. They need to find a new connect to keep the money rolling in. They need to create a new pipeline. They also need to create a new alliance, which I'm sure they will. But Tariq telling Brayden that they have to take risks, I do think there will be a bit of disagreements between the two, which isn't something new.
Okay, I'm sorry, but you can't put all the blame on me. If I knew what was going on, I would have been able to protect you, but you never fucking tell me anything. I always told you what you needed to know, always.
Throughout Power, we saw Tommy and Ghost fight and disagree all the time, and throughout Ghost we've seen something very similar between Tariq and Brayden. Even though Brayden had Tariq's back at the warehouse, I wouldn't be surprised if Brayden was still very hesitant to make the moves that Tariq wants to make. Let's not forget, Brayden isn't a killer like Tariq is. They're not cut from the same cloth. But I do think Brayden will be there for Tariq, even though he might not agree with what Tariq wants to do. I do think we're going to see them on a few missions, but then let's not forget, something later down the line will push Brayden over the edge. He is going to become a little reckless, and then that's the moment where Tariq will have to make a choice, whether there really is room for both of them at the top of the food chain. So Tariq and Brayden, they definitely will be a lot of moments of brotherhood, disagreements, fights, being there for each other, but right at the end, there is going to be a big decision that's going to have to be made. Now over to Tariq coming face to face with Detective Don Carter. He's going to be the face of law enforcement in Season 4. He's got his own team which will consist of Detective Nico Calder, and there's also Detective Felicia Lewis. Whether Jenny Sullivan, Blanca Rodriguez or Junior play a role, who knows, but there is going to be a real cat and mouse game between Carter, Tariq, Noma and the Tejadas. And judging by the scene with Tariq looking on at Carter, Noma and the Tejadas won't be his only threat. You do get the sense that Carter's here on smoke. He's lost his wife to the streets in a crossfire between two rival drug gangs, and that tells me he's a character who's going to be hellbent on cleaning up the chaos and violence in and around Queens, and maybe even catch those who were responsible. Whether he believes it was Tariq or the Tejadas, who knows. I do think we need to learn a little bit more, which I'm sure we will. But something will bring these two face to face, where neither of them look like they're going to back down. So it is going to be a real feisty chess match between the two. Over the years we've seen Tariq go against Cooper Sachs, Jenny Sullivan and Blanca Rodriguez, but Detective Don Carter comes with his own set of motivations. Whether he's someone who toes a fine line of ethical and moral boundaries, I'm pretty sure he will. Not many on Power are straight by the book, and Tamika Washington is probably the only one that kind of springs to mind who always did things the right way. But Carter, I think we all know full well, if he wants to put Tariq, the Tejadas, Noma and Effie in an orange jumpsuit, he might have to play a little dirty. But it definitely is going to be a huge cat and mouse game and a feisty chess match, that's for sure. With Noma and Obi, this is a different angle of a scene that we've already seen before, but in this ad, we hear Noma shouting, "Now." So adding this to what we heard her say before, where she said, "I don't want to be exposed," you really feel that she's beginning to panic. Whether it's Tariq who's causing panic by maybe hitting her organization's weak spots, or maybe he's got to her daughter Anya, those are two reasons why I think Noma could be panicking. However, let's just take this one step further. Linking this back to Detective Don Carter, he definitely will be in a cat and mouse game with Tariq and the Tejadas, and if he's closing in on the Tejadas at any point in the season, that means it's going to be extremely difficult for them to move Noma's product. If they then get exposed, that means Noma's organization could also be exposed, and we'll know from the synopsis, it's already been teased that she's going to have a fight on her hands to establish her business in the States. So I do think it could be a combination of either Tariq fucking with her organization, he might have targeted Anya Covington, or law enforcement might be closing in. Either way, she's looking at Obi for help and guidance, and I think that's a very powerful position for Obi to be in, because he doesn't look phased one bit. When someone's looking to you for help, you're the one in control. So it is going to be interesting to see whether this dynamic starts to shift, because during different stages of power, different people will find themselves in power, control, or in a position of weakness. At this moment in time, judging by these latest teasers, Noma might be in the position of weakness, and Obi might be the one in a position of power. So this dynamic is definitely one to keep an eye on. Now over to Monet and the Tejadas, who says, "You all want me out the game too." And considering she's in the Tejada household, you can only assume she's talking to her kids, Drew, Kane and Diana. And I thought after she was shot, I thought she may have really doubled down on kind of leaving the street game, but I think she's also realized there is no leaving, and also to remain in control over her kids, she has to be in the game. But when it comes to the Tejadas, they're in big trouble. Tariq is going to be looking to attack. They're also going to be looking over their shoulder for Detective Don Carter, all while moving Noma's product. But the problem when it comes to the Tejadas is, they're never on the same page. And this scene where Monet says, "You all want me out the game too," just kind of proves it. Drew and Diana still want out the family business. Kane wants to run things his way. Monet always likes control. They're never singing from the same hymn sheet, which is why I think it spells trouble. But that's a breakdown of some of the new clips to expect in Season 4 of Ghost. And one of the main ones here is Tariq coming face to face with Tasha, telling her to finish what she started. So Tasha might be playing a big role in Season 4. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section on Tasha, Tariq conversation with Brayden. him coming face to face with Detective Don Carter, along with the scenes from Noma, Obi, and Monet. Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.